I was really curious about the statistics. If I hit 200 computers, how many of each item I would find in there. And it was a really great experiment, to be honest. So I got the missus to help me. So thank you, Mrs. Geekseh. What she did was she made me this Excel spreadsheet. I, rewatched every single clip of me looting computers. I put it into here. And I have to tell you, the stats on this are really interesting. At the beginning, I'm also going to show you my favorite spots to loot computers. And this is going to come all the way back at the end on why I think you should be hitting all these computers in this area. So the first map I want to look at to where to find a lot of computers is Interchange. I know what you're thinking right away. You're like, okay, I know where he's going to talk about. He's going to talk about the back rooms by a secret staircase that go up to second floor. On either end of these, there's like 4 computers in each room or 3 computers. They're not those ones. Okay, now you're probably guessing, you know what? I bet you it's the computer room in Idea. There's 3 or 4 in there. He's definitely going to talk about those ones. It's not that one either. The computer rooms that I'm going to talk to you about are both in Ollie. So we're going to talk about the front office area right at the front entrance of Ollie to your right when you come in from the front entrance. And we're going to talk about 3 rooms that are in the back of Ollie that no one really hits. Both of these locations are so good because there's more computers than you know about, I'm almost positive, and they never get hit. Let me show you the run that I would do if I was going to hit these computers. So we're at the front of Ollie right here on Interchange. We're just going to go through the front door. So right away here, we're just going to go up the stairs and to the right. These little office areas that, there's a task in here, but no one else goes in here unless they're flanking or whatnot. But this is where we're going to go, and we're just going to hit our first 2 computers. So here's computer number 1 on our left. There's the computer under that table you can loot. And computer number 2 is in this door right here, just lying on its side. So far we've got 2. Now we're going to go out and we're just going to go across here. Not many people go to this area at all. And we're just going to go to this door on our left. So we're at 2 computers so far. We're just going to go through this little maze. And on our right here is a weapon crate and computer number 3. There's 4 and 5 should be right there. Now we're not done yet. We're going to go back out and we're going to go to the front, kind of like where the little kiosks are. So right here at the front of Ollie, these little kiosks, we're going to find 2 more computers. So there's number 6 right here. And right next to that door we entered, the kiosk next to the door we just entered, there's number 7. So that's 7 computers that not many people go and hit right away. And just a little bonus if you want, if you go right here, you see that little eye, the information desk, you can check. A lot of times these 2 computers are hit, but we hit 7 so far. Why not check to see if 8 or 9 are hit also? So there's 9 computers, and I would say those 2 that we just checked are usually hit, but the other 7 usually aren't touched. Now, when I'm doing this run, you guys are going to think I'm going to go outside here, and this is like that, the dark hallway secret area up to second floor. You guys probably think I'm going to go to the left, right? I'm going to go left here. We're not going to go there. We're actually going to run straight down to the other end of Ollie. Okay, so we're going to go through these double doors that, you don't go often into. Let's be honest. Sometimes you do, again, if you're flanking or whatnot, but we're going to hit to the right through these double doors, and you're going to hit this first room on your left. And right here is another office area, and we're going to find, how many computers are there? Oh, there's 1, there's 2, and I think there's a third one. There's 3. So there's 3 in this room. Now we're just going to keep sprinting, keep going down this corridor here, take a left, and there's 2 more rooms we're going to hit. So here's another one. So we're at 3 right now. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. And 7. So we're at 7 computers in a place that I'm almost positive, I'm going to say 70% of the audience watching this didn't know there's that many computers in this back room. Now in this last room, there's another 3. So there's 8. Nine. Where's the last one? There it is. 10. There's 10. So in those 2 areas I just showed you, if you don't count the 2 in the information desk, those are 17 computers that I don't think get hit that often at all. We're gonna look at Shoreline next. Not as many computers definitely as Interchange, but still a good chunk. I promise the Shoreline one's going to be a little bit faster because if you play Shoreline, these are pretty obvious spots, but we're going to hit the east wing up and then we're also going to hit admin. We always start by the helicopter area here and we're just going to go to the 3rd floor of east wing. So we're on the 3rd floor now. We're just going to go to room 308 or 306, whatever one you have a key for, and that's the big thing. Both of these rooms are connected, but they both need a key. So if you can get 308 or 306, it's either or. So we're just hopping over, going to 306, and in 306, there are 4 PC blocks here. The bulk of the PCs, though, are found in admin, so you're just gonna rush there to the 2nd floor. So once you're here, you're just going to go to the 2nd floor of admin, go to the left here, and through this hole, you'll find 1. And then there's another 4 in this room. So far we're at 5 PCs, and then there is still more. There's 1 in here. So we got 6. There's 1 next door, and there's a safe if you have the key. That's 7. And there's 8, which is next to just behind this. Oh man, I wish I wasn't playing offline mode. Come on game, why would you do that to me? So we are looking at 8 in admin, we're looking at 4 in the locked room, but now let's deep dive a little more into what I found. Now let's go into the statistics of this all. So before I start throwing out, numbers, statistics, I do want to let you know that the big bulk of my opening of computers was in 306, only because that way I know no one tampered with them, no one got to them first and picked out the goodies. So that's where a good chunk of them were, but I'm still letting you know that I did search some computers in other areas, and you know what? There could have been some tampering. People could have taken 1 or 2 things, but for the most part, when they have been hit, because there might be a square missing and then an item, so I would never count those ones. So there are some ways of this to be a little bit off for sure, but for the most part I try to keep it quote unquote the most scientific I could do, the most consistent way of me hitting computers that no one else already hit. So let's take a look. The first item in no specific order is capacitors. So these are always out of 200, just to let you know. I searched 200 computers. I found 31 caps. So we're looking at 15.5% of the time you're finding caps. Wires, a little more, just by 1. So 32 wires I found, so 16%. And CPUs, I found 13 of them. So we're looking at 6.5%. CPU fans, which are going for a good chunk of money, around 36 to 40,000 right now, I found 32 of them, so 16%. DVD drives really actually shocked me because I feel like every other computer I search has them, but I only found 27, so 13.5% of the time I found DVD drives, and that it just felt odd. But maybe it's just me because whenever I see them I'm like meh, but they're actually good items. There are good barters for them. Damaged hard drives, this one will make sense for everyone that searches computers. I found 43, so 21.5% of the time you will find a damaged hard drive. Printed circuit boards are on the same value, I would say, as CPU fans. I found 20 of them, so 10% of the time. Cords, I found only 19 of these. And again, it just goes back to like the DVD drive. You know, I feel like I find way more of these in computers, but maybe it's because I don't want to find these. I want to find the other items and you just notice it more. But I found 19 of these for 9.5%. And then power supply units, we found only 13, so 6.5%. CPUs, on the other hand, I don't feel like they go for a crap ton or anything, but I barely found any. I found only 2. 1% of the time I found a CPU. Now we're going to talk about graphics cards, and I'm going to show you what it is first, and then we'll talk about it. So how many graphics cards did I find? 0. I found no graphics cards in 200 computers. Now, I was told earlier in the wipe people were finding these, not a lot, but you know, they were finding them, and now later on they're never finding them. And then I'm also hearing, oh, I found one just recently. I don't know what it is. All I'm going to tell you is I didn't find any GPU. That is very odd. So 0% of the time I found a GPU. And then the SSD drives, we found 11 of them, so 5.5%. Other than, I would say, the GPUs and how many were in there, the big statistic I wanted to know though was how many empty computers are there. So if I do this run, I wonder how many empty computers I'm going to find. So I did, you know, out of all 200 of these computer runs, I found 40 of them empty. And a lot of times they were behind locked rooms, so I know no one hit them. So 40 were empty. So 10% of the time you're finding an empty computer. So 1 out of every 10 computers you hit, it's definitely going to be empty. Great stat. But now that we have, you know, all these numbers and whatnot, we can deep dive a little more. And I'm going to tell you the honest truth about this whole thing. I did this all last wipe. I would say a week before I was going to produce the results and start making the video, Nikita said that there was going to be a wipe in 2-day time or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm scrapping this whole thing. I really wish I kept the stats on that and I did all this so I can compare. But there is one stat that I do remember that we'll talk about right now. So the max amount of items you can find in a computer is 3. So you can find 3, you know, computer parts in one computer, and that is the max. I do remember last wipe though, you could find 4. I definitely remember that. But with the stats of, you know, 3 items, that's cool. But what's the average amount of items you find in a CPU? So I divided the total amount of items I found by the 200 runs, and we came up with the number 1.215 items. So you are looking at every time you hit a computer, you're guaranteed to find 1.215. Now we're going to imagine that I have all the items I just found from these 200 runs in my inventory, and we're going to sell it on the flea market. So if I had all the items that I showed you, you know, all the CPUs, all the SSDs and whatnot, if I sold them at the current price in the flea market, and I just took the 30-day average, guys. I took the 30-day average of all these items on the flea market. I did some multiplication, no big deal, kind of mathematician now. I came out with 5.3 million rubles we would make. So now that means, you know, we divide that number by the 200 computers, and you're looking at roughly 26,519 rubles you're going to make every time you loot a computer. And this is why we would come back to those runs I showed you earlier and why they're so important to know. So if you just hit, say, the front offices of Interchange, you know, that front right part, not including the information desk, you can come out, on average, if you do it enough times, it's going to come out to about 185,000 rubles. If you do the front offices and the back offices, you're going to come out with 450,000 rubles. And that's only if you have, of course, enough room in your backpack and your rig, of course, for all the items that you're going to find. But that's a lot of money. You know, a lot of people scoff at, you know, looting a computer, but 26,000 rubles per computer is really good. And that's why I think, hey, Loot those computers, guys. Loot them up. Thank you so much for watching this video. It took me a long time to put this together, and I'm really happy to finally show the community the results. So please, it would mean a lot to me if you give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. It's free for you guys, but it does mean the world to me. And I did all this on my Twitch channel. You can come by. I stream 5 days a week on twitch.tv/Geekseh. Come by, say hello. And until next time, I'll just talk to everyone later.